watching the Tom Laipply podcast.
We've heard years of the left, their loudest voices calling anyone on the right extremist MAGA Republicans, fascists, Nazis, an existential threat to democracy. Check yourself. And don't give me this both sides bullshit. Mr. Director, I want to ask you. Tell me if each one of the following perpetrators or alleged perpetrators were acting from a left-wing or right-wing political violence. The man who tried to kill Republican congressman at the congressional baseball practice, nearly killing House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Left-wing or right-wing violence?
Sir, I believe it was a left-wing ideology.
Okay. Burned down cities during the Summer of Love in the George Floyd riots. Left-wing violence or right-wing violence?
Sir, I'll rely on you on these. I don't have off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Okay, left wing. The Waukesha Christmas Parade massacre, left wing or right wing violence? Left wing. The Lee Zeldin stabbing attempt, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Covenant school shooting in Nashville, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt on President Trump, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Trump International West Palm Beach assassination attempt, left wing. The Abundant Life Christian school shooting, left wing. The United Care CEO's murder, left wing. Tesla's burned, keyed, damaged, firebombed, left wing. The murders at the Israeli embassy, left wing. The ICE facilities firebombed, left wing. The Minnesota Catholic school shooting, left wing. The anti-white Charlotte and North Carolina stabbing, left wing. The attempted Utah News State firebombing, left wing. And now, of course, the culmination of this vile trend, a left-wing assassination of Charlie Kirk. So don't give me this both sides. If we want to get to unity, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Free speech, yes. Political violence, no. But let's be honest.
When is this going to end? How can we come together? Had one law enforcement officer say, how do we keep social media away from our children? How much longer does this continue? He will get away with, he will imprison, he will execute whoever he's allowed to imprison, execute, drive from the country.
It's done in this investigation. Is the FBI investigating the Kirk assassination as part of this broader pattern of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence?
We are investigating Charlie's assassination fully and completely and running out every lead related to any allegation of broader violence, and we're producing results on that we'll disclose when appropriate.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Let me just ask you a few questions about that, if I could.
Sure.
Reports have suggested that the FBI is investigating a broader network of groups that may have had some knowledge of the shooter's plans. Can you give us any details on that, following up what you already said in public? How's the FBI working to find other potential accomplices, folks who may have known about the shooter's plans, folks who may have encouraged him? Any update on any of that?
So in terms of what we do for an interrogation perspective, we go and reach out to the family and community immediately. And we've conducted those investigations and interrogations with local law enforcement, and we're continuing to do that because those closest to the suspect are going to hopefully know the most about the suspect and his beliefs and his ideology. On top of that, unfortunately, it has been leaked that there was a Discord chat, and for those unfamiliar with it, it's a gaming chat room online that the suspect participated in. So what we're doing, we've already done, is serve legal process, not just on Discord, so that the information we gathered is sustained and held in a evidentiary posture that we could use in prosecution should it be decided to do so. And we're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Okay, very good. I see the public reports that the Discord thread had as many as 20 additional users. It sounds like you're trying to run down all of that to see if that's accurate, who else may have been on that thread, what they may have known. Is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that, and we're running them all down.
It's a lot more than 20?
Yes, sir.
And you're running all of that to ground?
Every single one.
Yeah, fantastic. Let me just turn to the broader question here of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence. Let me just give you a few stats that I'm sure that you're all too familiar with.
Well, the problem is on the left. If you look at the problem is on the left. It's not on the right, like some people like to say on the right. The problem we have is on the left. And when you look at the agitators, you look at the scum that speak so badly of our country, the American flag burnings all over the place. That's the left. That's not the right.
Stating there is no incriminating client list. Why was this July 7th memorandum unsigned?
Would you prefer I've used AutoPen?
Well, why was it unsigned?
The memorandum had the insignia of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and in our people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're not in
inmates.
the weeds.
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. We are bringing historic reform. Point of order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
What concerns me the most, frankly, is, this relentless assault on the Justice Department, on the FBI, by not just Trump, but all the other Republican candidates. They're attacking the Justice Department. They're trying to breed a lack of confidence in our justice system. That's going to have long-term damage. It means that people aren't going to trust the FBI. They're not going to report crimes. Witnesses won't come forward. Juries are going to be suspicious. In other cases, completely unrelated to Donald Trump. And this is by the party that was supposed to be a party of law and order. They've become a party of lawlessness and disorder, but it will do lasting damage.
Justice Department leadership populated by only cowards and fools. A Justice Department used both as a sword to go after the president's enemies and a shield to hide its corruption. Then, what will remain of our nation of laws? But a sad memory of a time when we lived up to our founders' dreams only to squander the gift of our inheritance.
This is not the murder of just one man. This is a coordinated, deep conspiracy. And I think you'll find, if we get to the terrorist designation, there'll be links on money and phone records, etc., and the Reddit channels and all this back to Butler. The kid at Butler just didn't randomly one day say, I hate Trump and I think I'm going to go assassinate him. Don't think that's just a random occurrence either, because it's not. And if you notice, we haven't seen a lot of pushing up on Capitol Hill to get this in front of anybody, right? It's all coming from the outside. You have to put the pressure on the outside.
All right, Tuesday night, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing good. As always, be blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. Let me go off real quick. There we go. One more time. Almost there. Almost past this crud. Hate it. Spiritual failure, being sick. Get out of there in Jesus' name. All right. Let me say to everybody in the chat real quick. Mr. Cool Dude is on. Waterline 46 is on. Robin Aroni is on. Guitar Glenn is on. Big Scott 1 is on. Judy Anita is on. JD Joy 25 is on. Let me see. East Trout is on. Jules 21 Hours is on. Veronica 18201 is on. USA Abbey Girl is on. Salty Gonads is on. Scrolling down. Skunk 71 is on. Prayer Works 2 is on. Sheila K is on. Lady Vu is on. JGCK is on. Motorcycle is on. Arcadia Angel is on. Sherry Gilbert is on. K4 VMS is on. Golf Master 1 is on. LA 106 Times is on. Greg Ninemon is on. Mike Griffith is on. Nate Dad 1 is on. Let me see here. PJ Wiles is on. DK Jackson's on. Uncle Wally is on. Conservative Warriors on. Ever Eden is on. Michelle Towle is on. Jim Brody is on. Let me see here. Wisconsin Honey Badger's on. Buckeye Nut 1968 is on. Scrolling down. Richard Perry is on. Let me see here. Confederate 1 is on. Those Jesus people is on. Let me grab one or two more. Big Scott 1 is on. Ian Mark. FB is on. Milwaukee James is on. Chemical Toilet is on. Supergirl 21 is on. My Broken Heart is on. Let me grab one more here. I haven't seen yet. My friend Todd Suff is on. Love you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Let me just open up with this, and I'm stealing this from somebody, but I can't remember who. It might be Matt Walsh. It might be Alex Jones. I can't remember. Somebody, maybe Alex Jones was talking to. I can't remember. It's something all of us already know anyway, but have you ever noticed, and I just call this, the George Floyd reaction? Isn't it weird that it's, and again, you're like, Tom, get past this. You saw Senator Schmidt talking about this in the pregame. The whole two sides need to cool their rhetoric, argument, or command, or position, or posture that many right-wingers are even taking. Even Thomas Massey, as sad as it is, absolutely loses all credibility in one tweet. Both sides need to cool their rhetoric. Screw you, both sides. It's not both sides need to cool their rhetoric. We don't even have any rhetoric. We have no incendiary rhetoric on the right. We have none. We never sell anybody to hurt anybody ever. Ever. They always do. We never do. It's as simple as that. Life really is that simple. Yes is yes. No is no. Life is that simple. Amen? Amen. I'll amen myself. Yeah. But anyway, so we have... who knew George Floyd prior to him being killed? We know his record, criminal record, but nobody knew him prior to that. We know that he liked to put knives at the belly of his pregnant girlfriends. We know that. We know he was a serial drug user, serial felon, was counterfeiting at the time of the arrest, at 3 times the lethal amount of fentanyl in his bloodstream at the time of his death. That's what he died of, according to the coroner. But yet a man's languishing in prison. Derek shot for 22 years for a murder he didn't commit. But anyway... So nobody even knew this guy. Then you have one of the lead, and we'll easily call George Floyd a leftist. Probably never voted or anything, but whatever. He was certainly, if he was going to vote, he voted Democrat. He certainly was solely and completely supported by Democrats. You had Kamala Harris setting up the Minnesota Freedom Fund, or supporting the Minnesota Freedom Fund, to bail out all of the rioters that rioted in George Floyd's name.
Right.
So... anyway, so nobody even knew who this guy was. Then you have one of the biggest names on the planet. Right-wing names, but one of the biggest names on the planet, first of all. Then one of the biggest right-wing pundits on the planet, period. Second to only those as big as, say, Alex Jones. That's about as, second only to those. At the level of a Candace Owens in his podcasting space, but even way bigger than that because he recruited many voters and had 900 chapters of TPUSA across the United States. Now they're 37,000 requests have now come in since Charlie Kirk's assassination. So, and everybody knows him. There've been vigils for Charlie Kirk in Africa.
Wow.
There's vigils for Charlie Kirk, obviously in the UK, in Poland, all around the world. Vigils for Charlie Kirk. Literally in Africa. Among the Bushmen, they're out there. It's like, hey, celebrating Charlie Kirk. Sorry again for the snorts and stuff. Again, the microphone. But anyway, hopefully this is it. But anyway, so he's one of the biggest names in the world, and obviously one that all of us admired. Whether you agree with him 100% or not, he didn't say enough. He said too much. Can we just sometimes go, you know what? Human relationships are based on 80%. Can we all just agree on that, please? Instead of everybody being offended and losing all your previous relationships. Aaron brought up a very valid point. Aaron, don't let me forget I'm talking about George Floyd.
Yep.
Aaron brought up a very valid point one time, and it was somebody who got offended at the church and left. And it's just bad-mouthing. It was actually bad-mouthing me directly in my own family. But anyway, and Aaron's thought while this person was bad-mouthing me was, what about, remember 1 year ago, these people were great?
Yeah.
1 year ago, they had all these positive attributes, and now they have none. Do you really think it really changed that much? I mean, does it really change that much, or did one thing offend you? And then what if I was to act like that towards every congregant? Well, you know what? You did one thing to offend. I noticed you weren't clapping during my favorite song. Excommunicado.
Bye.
Bye. All right, you're out. Have the ushers usher him out. How would you like that? Or I'll just no-show services.
Yeah.
I'll just no-show. I just won't show up on Sunday because I'm offended. But anyway, so just because you don't necessarily agree with every last thing that Charlie Kirk wasn't hardcore enough for me on some issues and perfectly hardcore on other issues.
Yeah.
But I greatly admired the man. He was freaking brilliant. He's brilliant. So we lose one of our biggest voices, and the biggest voice on the conservative youth side. And by youth, I don't even mean youth. I mean young adults. And where's all the rioting? They rioted and burned down. They did how many billions of dollars worth of damage? Killed 30 people for George Floyd, whom they never knew. We lose one of our, if not our biggest voice outside of Trump. And not one riot. Not one protest that's gotten out of hand. We have leftist demonstrators coming to our Charlie Kirk vigils, trampling on the various articles that are brought to honor him and flowers and things like that, statues, trampling all over them, and none of them even get harmed. They get tackled to the ground, but none of them get harmed. Everybody there is armed.
Yeah.
Everybody's armed. Everybody in this room is armed tonight with the exception of me. Everybody's armed, okay? And none of them ever get hurt. No, Aaron, why? We're not looting. There's no Nike or Apple stores being looted right now.
No, it's weird.
That's weird. It's like only the left does that, but yet we're supposed to equate ourselves with the disgusting, repulsive left. We're supposed to equate. We need to chill our rhetoric. We need to worry about our political speech and our political activities. No, we don't. Why? Aaron, pull up all the riots of right-wingers over the last 10 years.
I got none.
None. Right. Okay, there you go. So, and again, people will talk about J6, but even with J6, we have the cops outnumbered. I even hate to use the word we because a lot of it was a fedsurrection. There were some dumb Republicans there and dumb conservatives there too. But anyway, certainly got, even if they were dumb, were massively maltreated in the court system. But regardless, I'm not going to digress on that. But anyway, you had cops outnumbered 150 to 1, 200 to 1, 2,000 to 1. And not one cop was seriously injured. Oh, yes, they were. They were really. Show me their injury report. One broken bone. Show it to me. There's not one. Not one gun was there. Nothing. And George Floyd, who nobody has ever heard of, a serial drug abuser, was arrested at the time for counterfeiting. Held a knife to his pregnant girlfriend's belly. Multiple felony convictions. Died of a fentanyl overdose. And they burned cities to the ground where you have tens of billions of dollars worth of damage and 30 people massacred. But I'm supposed to equate, and then we have Charlie Kirk killed, and we haven't done anything, and I'm supposed to equate myself or parallel myself with somebody on the left and chill my rhetoric?
No.
I don't think so. We haven't done anything.
Nope.
What we're seeking right now is for Tyler Robinson to receive the lethal injection. And even when he gets the lethal injection, I will not rejoice except in the fact that justice has come. So that's how we are. That's what we're doing. And the left, you know what? They trust in the fact that we are going to be controlled. And in this capacity, we should be controlled. How we shouldn't be controlled is going after them legally. Aaron, give me a legally. Legally. Going after, I mean that wholeheartedly, not some sort of Colbert wink and nod to burn down Tesla dealerships. I'm talking about, literally legally. Let's get them fired. I have one of those videos tonight. And the last video on the post game is set to "We're not going to take it" and lists all the firings. It's great. You'll love it. Stick around for the post game. It's awesome. But anyway, so we don't need to worry about any of those. We don't need to chill our rhetoric. We are not like them. We've come out from among them and we're separate, says the Lord. 2 Corinthians 6:17. I have nothing to do with that refuse. I have absolutely nothing to do with that minutia. That is that is them. That's their garbage. That's who they are. We don't need to change. We're perfectly fine. And we need to do all of these things legally. Absolutely go for people's jobs. absolutely go for people's retirements. Absolutely prosecute the Faucis of the world, the Christopher Wrays of the world, the Peter Strzoks. Go back into Peter Strzok and then fire him again. But you can't fire. Technically, you can't fire him, but you can get his retirement because he won a lawsuit and got his retirement. Let's reopen that case again, because then let's bring it out of that jurisdiction of DC and let's try it in a red jurisdiction. I mean, you're like, Tom, really go down that far into the weeds? Yes. Hillary Clinton needs to be tried and convicted. I mean, a myriad of people. I mean, there's so many that I could name. I mean, Adam Schiff, of course, and I love the mortgage fraud stuff. It's Schiff, Letitia James, and the governor the federal governor Lisa Cook from the Fed governor, from the Federal Reserve. And I was thinking about this the other night because I was watching the Raiders game, and I made Aaron one night look up how much it cost to build that stadium. If you've ever been to Vegas, it's an unbelievable stadium, where the Las Vegas Raiders play. And that stadium cost, I believe, if I'm correct, $1.2 billion to build that stadium. The Federal Reserve, not to build the Federal Reserve, the renovation for the Federal Reserve is $2.4 billion and going up. Explain that to me.
Yeah.
I mean, and by the way, how is it that Joe's paying for it, Aaron's paying for it, I'm paying for it, and you're paying for it, and allegedly this is the central private bank? Can you explain that to me? I mean, I'd love that explained to me on some sort of freaking pie chart.
Yeah.
Somebody just rationally pull up a digital pie chart and please explain to me how it is that I'm paying a $2.4 billion renovation for a private company. I'd just like to know how that works.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how it was that I paid for the lawsuit for Pfizer that the FDA conducted for Pfizer. So we paid for it so that they could keep their vaccine developmental data classified for 75 years. I'm just curious, how was it that I end up paying for that?
Yeah.
And one of the last things I'll tell you about Kirk is that the leftists call us is what? We all know the word they call us more than anything. It's not Hitler, it's not Nazi. The number one thing they call us is fascist, right? And what was carved on the bullet casings? Fascist. And they're going to actually claim that they had no influence on Tyler Robinson? And there's going to be some videos on this. But there's been this effort by Stephen Colbert, who just won an Emmy, by the way, for his show, best late night show. It got canceled for lack of viewership, but it's the best late night show, and they're all clapping. I mean, what a bunch of moronic, sycophantic clowns! Yeah, best show that just got canceled for lack of viewership, and it costs $50 million a year to run that freaking show, and they make nothing.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, the $50 million budget for that stupid show.
Could you imagine if that was our budget?
Oh gosh. I mean, I'd be conducting this podcast on some sort of flying vehicle throughout.
You'd be like a hologram.
Yeah, I'd be like the Jetsons. Meet Tom Laipply, whatever. But here's the thing: they put out this rhetoric, whether it's Destiny, or whether it's Colbert, or whether it's numerous Democratic Party politicians and pundits that are on all the mainstream channels, claiming that Tyler Robinson was right wing. That this has gone on for days up until this very moment. Yeah. It's now stopped. Why is that? Well, let's find out why. Because his gay lover, who was transitioning to women, still fully penised, so he was having sex with an anus. Yeah. That's who this conservative was, having anal sex with a man. We know that. Who's transitioning to a woman without lopping off his penis. I don't know exactly how you transition to a woman without getting your inverted vagina. But regardless of that, so that's who he was having sex with. And it was also a furry. And one of his neighbors has now come out and he saw him kissing, and it was very strange and whatever. And they were definitely boyfriend. And so now suddenly, since this has come out that he was a furry, and their text messages come out, and you have Tyler calling his furry gay lover my love.
Yeah.
Now suddenly Colbert's silent. Aaron, could you pull up all the retractions?
Oh, let me see.
Yeah, pull up all the retractions and the apologies for falsely accusing this guy or falsely saying that this man was a MAGA guy.
Nothing.
There's nothing. Where's Colbert's retraction? I mean, this is how disingenuous, dishonest, triple D disgusting these people are. And this is what they just put it out there in the wind. And here's the thing. Just like we've heard from there's two, Trump's saying there's good people on both sides. Just like we've heard that, and we still hear that, and we still hear there was cops killed on J6. We're gonna hear that Tyler Robinson's right wing a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now.
Yep.
People are gonna campaign on it because they got their lie out in the wind. And again, what does it even feel like to live the life of a pathological liar like Stephen Colbert and Adam Schiff and all those people? I'm just curious. All right, let me show you this. Some polls from Harry Ent, and then we're going to dive deep into the whole Kirk situation. But I want to just show you where Democrats stand on vital issues. Aaron, side by side that real quick. So I just want to show you this just because it just popped into my mind. Now, we're called fascists and Nazis, but net popularity of socialism among Democrats. Now, what did Nazi stand for? Oh, let me think now. What did Nazi stand for? What was it? Oh, National Socialist. Aaron hates socialism. I hate socialism. Joe hates socialism. You hate socialism, but yet somehow we're equated with Nazis when Democrats are now at plus 36 in favor of socialism. Play for me.
I'm not really surprised that Kathy Hochul decided to, in fact, endorse R.M. Mandani, because the fact is socialism is not a four-letter word in Democratic primaries, not among Democratic voters. It's a five-letter word in the minds of a lot of Democrats, that five-letter word being great. Look at this. Net popularity of socialism among Democrats. You go back to 2010, it was plus 7 points. Look how high it is now, up like a rocket, up to plus 36 points. That's a jump of nearly 30 points on the net popularity scale among Democrats in just 15 years. And I was looking at the polling from New York City, and what you see is the clear plurality of New York City Democrats think the idea of having a socialist mayor is a good idea, matching what we see nationally. The bottom line is socialism isn't a dirty word among Democrats at this particular point. It's actually a word that, when attached, Democrats seem to like it.
That's a huge jump, and that's not that long ago, let me add.
No.
What about capitalism?
Yeah, okay, so if all of a sudden socialism is now a five-letter word, great. What I would say is capitalism in the mind of Democrats is a three-letter word, bad. What are we talking about? Net popularity of socialism among Democrats. Look at this trend. It was plus 8 points in 2010 on the positive side of the ledger. Look at where we are in 2025. Down. Falling through the floor at minus 13 points. That's a drop of over 20 points in just 15 years. So we see the exact opposite trend that we see at socialism, which is up, up and away. What we see with capitalism is down, down, down through the floor.
Okay, we're talking about Democrats here. What about if you look at the larger population, Harry? Is it the same type of thing?
This is where the danger is for Democrats, because if socialism plays in Democratic primaries, it does not play in the general electorate. What do we see going on here? Net popularity among all adults. Capitalism is on the positive side of the ledger at plus 12 points. Socialism way, way, way underwater at minus 18 points. So that's capitalism running away by 30 points over socialism. That is why Republicans are thanking their lucky stars if Mandani, in fact, wins the general election, because they feel like they can play off of him, because socialism may play in New York City among Democrats, but among the general electorate, Donald Trump and the Republicans are saying, hey, look at the socialist mayor in New York City. This is what we're dealing with. So again, something may play in Democratic primaries. It may play in the very Democratic city of New York, but among the general electorate, Republicans are salivating at the idea that they can run against a Democratic socialist being the mayor of New York City.
Interesting way to break down those numbers, Harriet, and thank you.
Always interesting.
So now we know where the Democrats stand on socialism. Now we know where the Democrats stand on capitalism, which is why we can't come together.
Yeah.
Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. What do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? Come out from among them and be separate, says the Lord. 2 Corinthians 6:14 and 6:17. That's what you cannot come together with your ideological opponent. That'd be like two football teams saying, we're just going to come together before the game. How do you come together when you have to compete? There's no way to come together, okay? There's no way to come together with people whose boyfriend is trying to transition to a woman and has a furry butt plug. I can't, what am I going to say to Tyler Robinson, who's attracted to furry butt plugs? How are we going to come together exactly?
No.
I mean, I really don't. And here's one other thing too. And I'm jumping all over the place, and I apologize for it. But you know what I'm sick of? You know what I'm really sick of, Aaron and Joe? You know what I'm really sick of?
What?
Here's my thing. And I know that people are, giving like some heroic sort of acknowledgement to Tyler Robinson's dad for turning him in, and do credit to him, and refusing the $1.2 million reward for turning him in. credit to that. And weird because Ackman has offered to give that money. What's Ackman's first name? I forgot. Bill Ackman's first. I thought that's what it was. I didn't get it wrong. I didn't want to get it wrong. Bill Ackman's allegedly offered to pay that to him. Weird. But anyway, we'll get all, it's all coincidence. It's all coincidence. Don't think about it. It's just coincidence. But what I'm sick of is this. When you have an obviously lobotomized son, Aaron, side by side, would you? Thank you. It's actually perfect timing. See him there, bottom right. There's Tyler. That's the idiot who killed Charlie Kirk for absolutely no reason. You know, if you have a son like this, and you know, like I've seen this many, many times in law enforcement and in church work, and I'm like, okay, the person's just got dead eyes.
Yeah.
You know, the window to the soul. Dead. I mean, and this kid was, he was known as sort of a friendly loner, so he would be like in a friend group, but would be alone the whole time kind of guy. But anyway, and I have no problem with solitary figures. I'm pretty much a solitary man myself. I'm just saying, you can tell that this guy's off and that he's basically spiritually lobotomized and emotionally lobotomized and mentally lobotomized. You know that as his dad. Would everybody agree? There it is.
Yeah.
So what don't you do when you have a son like this? What don't you do? Because how many stories have we now heard where the parent does this? What don't you do when you have a lobotomized son who you can tell is socially inadequate and is attracted to furry butt plugs? I'm just using that because it's a lot easier to say in transgender or transitioning man into a woman, whatever. Okay, you know that. And you know he's off his rocker. What do you not do? Give him grandpa's 30-06 with a $2,000 scope on it. Does that make sense to everybody? We're going to bond through firearms. Bond through watching movies.
Yeah.
Bond through going fishing. Bond through eating some meals together.
Yeah.
Bond through actually being a decent father. All right? Don't bond because now you have a shared liking of firearms when your son is very obviously a sociopath. I can spot him. Why can't anybody else? And his dad's in law enforcement. Why? Why in the world would you say, okay, my son's a little off? I mean, Aaron, how many off people have you seen in church?
A lot.
Okay,
yeah.
You know what I'm not going to do? Is I'm not going to go, because I can't really say that I'm into firearms. I have a lot of them. I know how to use them, a lot of training from law enforcement. I get that, but I mean, I never go out and shoot it or anything like that. I did so much of it in law enforcement, I'm just kind of beyond it. It's like I can't watch Cops, because I just did it too much. But anyway, you know what I'm not going to do with some weirdo lobotomized moron and that I run into? I'm going to go, hey, you know what? You know what you need? 357 Magnum.
Yeah.
That's what you need. And we're going to go to the gun range together. No, I'm not going to go train this lobotomized sociopath how to become an assassin. And because if you notice in this, I'm getting way ahead of myself, but and I'll end up having to. I won't repeat it. If I've already said it. But one of his chief concerns in his text messages was how he was going to get Grandpa's gun back.
Yep.
And I'll let it go at that for now. All right, Red Wave press video. Breaking Utah County District Attorney. Finally, a decent video where I don't have to hear the pontifications of moronic politicians and police leadership saying, I want to thank this organization. I want to thank this organization. I want to say that this person's done a fantastic job. Shove it. You're getting paid. You don't need public acknowledgement. Yeah. Aaron, does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm so sick of it.
Me too.
We just want to thank you for the great coordination and cooperation with the Department of Law Enforcement in Utah and the FBI and the AT. Shut up. You guys don't need to be publicly acknowledged. You're all making six-figure salaries. Shut up. Do your jobs. That's what we care about. And by the way, not enough has been done yet. And why are we not getting daily briefings? But finally, we got a good one today. By this credit to Jeff Gray, Utah County District Attorney. A nice, cogent, succinct press conference. Very nice job. Utah County District Attorney Jeff Gray has announced 7 charges against Tyler Robinson. Play for me.
I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense, for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk, under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide. The state is also charging defendant with count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor, for committing homicide knowing that children were present and may have seen or heard the murder and did so based on Charlie Kirk's political expression. Also, following the press conference, I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail.
All right, so the charge is aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice 1, obstruction of justice 2, witness tampering 1, witness tampering 2, commission of a violent offense in the presence of Charlie Kirk's own kids. And Aaron's double checking on something I don't want to ever misreport with the dad, Tyler Robinson's dad's law enforcement connections. I said he was in law enforcement. What I actually meant was he had affiliations with law enforcement. And my understanding is possibly like as an auxiliary. I never thought he was a full-time cop for all these years. But my understanding is he may have been like as an auxiliary deputy, like a deputy sort of like free that will come and work like different events or whatever. But who knows? I've heard two different ends of that. So the full-time law enforcement is not right, but I don't know about his affiliations with law enforcement because I don't want to misreport anything because we actually care about getting things right here, unlike the mainstream media. Yep. But anyway, even some on the right. But anyway, townhall.com video. Warning, this is horrific to read. We got the same guy, Jeff Gray again. Great, does a great job with these press conferences. Absolutely great. I just want the facts. Tyler Robinson allegedly admitted to his boyfriend of everything he did leading up to and following the murder of Charlie Kirk. Here are the text messages between the gay lovers. Play for me.
Robinson replied that he had disposed of the clothes in different areas. The roommate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting, and he did provide those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange, then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, You weren't the one who did it, right? Robinson, I am. I'm sorry. Roommate, I thought they caught the person. Robinson, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Roommate, how long have you been planning this? Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Robinson again, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK if it's had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about Prince. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find Prince. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The F in messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke all right. I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine, IDK. I think that was a $2K dollar scope. Wink, wink. Robinson again, delete this exchange. Again, Robinson, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me, RN, not answering. Robinson, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Robinson, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Again, you are all I worry about, love. That came from Robinson. Roommate, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. The search for Robinson's residence. Police executed a search warrant on Robinson's residence. During that search, police discovered a shell casing with etchings like...
All right, so let's have a group discussion here. And I'm having Aaron will chime in too. And Aaron, just alert me when you're coming in.
Yep.
And then you guys also in the chat, because I want to attack this from two angles, legitimate and illegitimate. Like, is this legitimate or illegitimate? Is there elements of legitimacy and elements of illegitimacy? Let's break this down. And one, those Jesus people said, do 22-year-olds say my vehicle and squad car? That is, that's one of the things that Aaron brought up. So I don't think I've ever heard my son refer to his car as vehicle. And I don't think that I've ever heard anybody under the age of 25 refer to a police car as a squad car. So like it's odd. All right. And who's dumb enough to incriminate themselves on text messages, knowing that, and then here's the other thing. Tyler Robinson, I think, is 22, something like that. 22.
Yep.
So he's 22. Now, what 22-year-old does not know that
Yes.
there's no way to erase text messages?
But delete it.
Yeah. And then tells your butt plug boyfriend to delete the text messages as if that will eliminate it from evidence for law enforcement.
Right.
So very, very, very suspicious. And it's very Lance Bolter-ish coming out of Minnesota, who Tampon Tim hired, who had the No Kings protests, pamphlets in his car, assassinated the congresswoman in Minnesota right after she voted against Democrats in a very controversial bill. And they claim that Bolter is a right-wing assassin. But he very carefully had Aaron, get this, he had left his wife and strangely was living with an effeminate man.
Oh, odd.
And that effeminate man got a very similar text message from Lance Bolter. But again, it's all coincidence.
Yeah, of course.
All coincidence. Very similar text message in that, you know that I did this all on my own. We both know that you were never involved in any part of this, the planning or execution of this assassination. I mean, and the same sort of thing is going on here where every base is covered to incriminate himself and to exonerate his butt plug boyfriend. Very strange, isn't it? Now you look at it one way. Now, did he actually write these text messages? Because he's writing it in verbiage never seen before for a 22-year-old. Now you saying, Tom, that he didn't do it? No, I'm not. Here's the thing. We're going to get to the video of the possible ulterior or it's tough to even put this into proper verbiage. But maybe the shooting came from Charlie Kirk's right, not directly ahead.
Yeah.
Now, who would know that? Well, they already know it. They already know it because at the autopsy, which you and I are strangely never allowed to see any of this stuff. Yep. Aaron brought this up pre-podcast. Why are we hearing nothing about Butler or Ryan Ralph? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. And I told Aaron, I said, well, you don't have to, why isn't Trump wanting to know? I want to know if someone tried to blow my head off.
Yes.
So anyway, and someone did. Donald Trump, that was an assassination attempt. Ryan Roth was an assassination attempt. I don't understand the motivations, except if you're trying to protect certain people that even though you know they tried to kill you. And Donald Trump right now has vocalized to people that he's scared of being assassinated by Israel. Tommy, you saying Israel did this? No. Am I saying Israel didn't do it? No.
Right.
I'm sick of it all. I mean, nobody gets excluded from investigations. It's just, remember all the believe all women crap? You don't believe all women. You investigate all accusations.
Yep.
Right? So anyway, so you have all these text messages. They're very convenient, line by line confessions with a kid who grew up with technology, who spent his entire life on technology, on what's it called, Aaron? Discord?
Yeah, Discord.
Discord gaming, knows everything. Like if I was to sit around right now, Joe and Aaron could have a conversation about technology, and I have no idea what they're talking about.
Right.
Nothing. Same with Aaron and my son, or Joe and my son. They're all very good friends. They can sit there and talk about tech stuff. I have no idea what they're talking about. No idea. They can all run this podcast. I don't know how to run the podcast. I honestly do not know how to turn the camera on that's looking at me right now. I have no idea. No idea. I mean, seriously, I have no idea how to turn it on. All right, but this kid lived in this technology and knows there is no way to erase anything.
Yeah.
Especially a telephonic communication. Because not only is it on your device, it's on his device, and it's in the cloud. Go, Aaron.
Yep. Yeah, and not to mention, he's a 4.0 GPA person.
Yeah,
he has a 4.0, so he's smart. Yeah.
He's genius. So, I mean, he knows all these things. And it's just very strange that he both implicates himself and exonerates his boyfriend. Now, isn't that sort of like the perfect thing if you want to set somebody up to take the fall for you? And by that, what I mean is you actually are telling the person you're going to take the fall for this. How do we know these people ever go to prison?
Yeah.
I mean, do we? I mean, how do we know that Tim McVeigh's dead? You ever seen it? Well, I never seen it. Is he the one set up to take the blame for Oklahoma City, and then we never actually see the body? You notice how we never do?
Yep.
Kind of strange, isn't it?
Yep.
Where we allegedly live in this democratic republic, or this constitutional federal republic, and we never actually see the evidence of the things that we're told to believe in. Like, make sure that you mask, vaccinate, stand 6 feet apart, close your church, close your businesses, and do what you're told. We never actually see it. Where are all the dead bodies? I never saw one here.
No.
I mean, I'm in Old People Central. and nobody's dead.
Weird.
No, nothing. Nothing. But anyway, so it's just very strange. Are you saying, Tom, that they're illegitimate? No, I'm saying it's possible that they're illegitimate. And by the way, the FBI can know in 2 seconds whether they're legitimate or not. So, that's, I don't know. And if my opinion, if it wasn't, then the kid was set up by Intel. So he gets promised whatever he gets promised. You and I will never know. Say he's executed. We don't know if he's executed or not. And then he's living in downtown wherever, and we have no idea for the rest of his life. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, and my question, too, was when we were talking while the video was going, is like, they didn't know that they were going to find this gun in the woods, but they brought a box that was the perfect size to hold the gun in it.
Well, you look down the whole, like the box thing I potentially could excuse because they know they're probably going to find a rifle. But here's the thing. The whole what you actually brought up is even more salient than that is, okay, they have this video footage of him on the roof. Okay, who disassembles a gun, puts it in a backpack, gets off of a roof, reassembles the gun after they've already gotten away with it.
Yep.
All you need to do is get in his car and leave.
Yep.
Reassembles the gun, throws it in the woods, wrapped in a towel, and then enumerates that line by line in a text message.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Dude. I disassembled the gun. I threw it in the woods. I wrapped it in a towel. I'm hoping the squad car doesn't see it.
Yeah. They're right by it.
I'm in my vehicle.
Yeah. Sure.
So strange. It sounds like a law enforcement officer's writing the text messages. I mean, but again, am I saying that's? I'm not saying that's the case. I never do that. I'm not saying, listen, this could be simple, transgender, fascist, Nazi assassination. That's what it could be. And if I was to guess, that's where I lean. But here's the thing. I don't know anymore. They told me to close my church for a virus that had a 0.1% death rate, to wear a mask that does nothing, to clean surfaces vehemently when it's an airborne virus, to squirt off UPS packages for an airborne virus, to take 12 vaccinations to be fully vaccinated. That's not an exaggeration, by the way. That's absolutely true. It's 12. So I don't believe anything that they say. Not one thing. Let's go another angle here. Colin Rugg video. New. Here's the 71-year-old side by side. This everyone knows who I'm talking about. The 71-year-old audience member, strangely showing up at miraculously, an Ashkenazi Jew, by the way, miraculously showing up at all these different events.
Mm-hmm.
The 9/11, he called in 9/11. Saw the planes hit the towers of 9/11. Very strange. I mean, just very strange. 71-year-old audience member who was arrested at Charlie Kirk's UVU event says he told cops he shot Charlie Kirk to distract the police so the real shooter could escape. Which shooter, though? Was it actually Tyler Robinson or the one to Charlie Kirk's back right? Well, I don't know. Was there one to Charlie Kirk's back right? I don't know. Was there two shooters? And we're going to break that down in just a second. But here's George Zen. Play it for me.
It's him or not. How dare you! 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 You're such a monster! What a monster! Such a monster! Monster! A monster! How dare you! Back it up!
All right, so there we go. Just again, George Zinn. I actually thought there was more to that video. Sorry about that. But anyway, so George Zinn called in 911, called in a fake bomb right after the Boston bombing, called in a fake bomb threat into, I think it might have been the Utah marathon. And then one other thing that I'm forgetting, but anyway, which I hate, Aaron's finding it for me. But anyway, so this guy's strange, and then strangely here, now again, the number 3 is right here, and there might be a number 4, might be a number 5, might be a number 6. Strangely then is here at the Charlie Kirk assassination. And remember now, the various members of Tyler Robinson's group said that it's coming the next day. You had the book that was written. Somebody put in the chat the other night, whatever happened to the book, it's disappeared off the planet. that was written, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, that was printed and said where it was going to occur. That was actually printed. It was for sale on Amazon. I have all that. That's all permanently on our server, so there's no way that anybody's going to eradicate it. But anyway, erase it all. So you had various members of Tyler Robinson's group said big things coming tomorrow. See, I told you so. So that was happening. And then strangely, there's somebody in the crowd that allows Tyler Robinson to escape, or the other shooter to escape, or both shooters to escape, or the main shooter. Maybe they told Tyler Robinson the whole time, you're going to be the shooter. And then they gave him blank bullets to shoot. So there's a sound of a 30-06, but the killer's actually behind him. I don't know. So let's look at the alternative. Here's the alternative. This was also played on Alex Jones. All right, Tom, are you espousing this viewpoint? Are you adopting this viewpoint? No, I'm not. I'm just saying here's the alternatives. Can we all look at the alternatives?
Yeah.
Is there anything wrong with that? I mean, now you get. I refuse to take a vaccination. You're anti-science and a conspiracy theorist and a grandma killer. No, you know what? How many deaths have been caused by vaccinations? I have no interest in. Plus, 0.1% death rate. I mean, again, can we have a discussion? Right? I mean, is there anything that's really off the table? Not for me. All right, so here's you guys have the title for this? I don't want to give it. You have the.
It just says the investigation is still ongoing.
Yeah. Okay. You have any idea who actually put it out?
1776 Sports Nutrition.
1776 Sports Nutrition video. Here's the alternative shooter viewpoint. Play it for me.
The purpose of this is to explain a different shooter location. The shot was taken from here. Watch for the muzzle flash. Light is seen first, then the audible crack. What we saw is where the bullet exited, not entered. The entrance was actually to his right. The angle of the shot would have to be low enough to see under the canopy, which this angle suffices. A projectile can be seen here, lining up with the muzzle flash. The actual assassin is near the stairwell, giving a concealed position. The fire from across was the distraction shot to draw attention away from the actual gunman.
All right, so there you go. I thought it was longer than that. What the heck? But anyway, maybe it's because I watched it on Alex Jones and he was breaking it down slide by slide. So there's the alternative viewpoint that I'm not adopting yet at all. Anyway, in my opinion, right now, Tyler Robinson's a shooter. But I don't know. I don't know any of this yet. So here's the alternate way to look at things, or the second shooter, or the only shooter viewpoint, ideology, philosophy, whatever you want to say, whatever opinion, however it is that you want to frame it. So possibly to Charlie Kirk's right-hand side, back right is possibly another shooter. And if you notice the video, now, and the reason why you can't just jump lock, stock, and barrel on these things, because just yesterday we had people signing for the shooter from behind, and both of those were not true. The guy that has the white cap was accused of shooting him. That's a long-term Charlie Kirk advisor, long-term friend. And they said he shot him because he jerked his phone right at the same time. They said it was a firearm. That's all been debunked. The sign language has been debunked. Everything's been debunked like that. So you can't just jump lock, stock, and barrel into this, but you have to look into it. So anyway, Aaron, you trying to do something?
Yeah, so where the mouse pointer is.
You have to move it around fairly, people.
So move it around just a little bit. Where the mouse pointer is right there, that is the projectile. Now, if you go ahead and hit play again real quick, you can see it move.
Boom. And then the shirt goes up. So if the bullet enters in to his right side, you can see the exit would be where the shirt goes up.
Yep. Right there.
Right there. Okay, so that is a valid viewpoint. And again, with Tyler Robinson, who's tech savvy and a genius, outlining very specifically how he did it to his boyfriend, it lends credence to the possibility that there is an alternative shooter. Maybe there was two, a distraction and a real one. Problem is the sound that was made was definitively that of a 30-06. So you'd have to come up with an explanation. The coroner already knows. Because regardless what we saw, and I don't even like to talk about it because it borders on just being, and it's not disrespectful, but I don't know a better word. But anyway, I just don't want to disrespect Charlie Kirk in any way. But anyway, if you look at the blood loss, okay, that is an exit wound. That's not an entrance wound. Everybody agrees, right?
Yeah, looks like
so
it. Yep.
It's not. It doesn't look like it. I'm not being mean to you, Aaron. I'm just saying it doesn't look like it. It's not possible. No, that's an exit wound. There is no such thing. No entrance wound makes that sort of damage. It doesn't do that. Doesn't matter what bullet it is. That is the exit wound. And most times it's a hollow point round that causes that amount of grotesque blood loss in a split second. Okay, that is an exit wound. That lends credence to the second shooter. The shirt flopping up the way that it did looks like an exit wound, but the coroner already knows. Why don't we know?
Yeah.
Because if it was Tyler Robinson, the entrance wound is here, and the exit wound would be more in the back, but we saw the blood loss going to the side, which would line up more with the right shoulder shooter. That's a fact. But the coroner already knows because the entrance wound is clean. It's the exit wound that is massive, but the entrance wound is clean. Unless somehow, now the only way that it wouldn't be clean is if it was Tyler Robinson and went straight through and the amount of damage just encompassed, the amount of damage from the exit wound encompassed the entrance wound. If it's the right shoulder shooter, that would not be the case. So he already knows the answer.
Yeah.
Somebody already knows. Why don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, good. This is more on Zen, George Zen, the guy who covered up for one or both of these shooters. Do you have one shooter who does the actual killing? Nobody will ever find, nobody ever knows. And then you have Tyler Robinson who takes the blame via his extraordinarily stupid text messaging. And suspicious, exonerating of his boyfriend, text messaging, and line by line incriminating himself. Who does that? I never saw that once in 25 years of law enforcement, ever. So, very strange. And then, I was going to say even stranger, but along the same lines of that level of strangeness, you have Zen in the audience who jumps up and claims, I'm the shooter, I'm the shooter. Who would ever do that? As if this possibly was coordinated? PSYOP? Intel operation? Zen was present in New York City during the terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center. In one resurfaced video clip from the time, Zen claimed he immediately suspected al-Qaeda's involvement as the towers collapsed, stating he knew it had to be al-Qaeda upon seeing the events unfold. Shortly after the Boston Marathon bombing on April 15, 2013, which killed 3 people and injured hundreds, Zen emailed a bomb threat to organize the Salt Lake City Marathon scheduled for April 20, 2013. According to police reports, Zen admitted he made the false confession instinctively to create a distraction, allowing the real shooter to escape with the Charlie Kirk assassination. It's very strange.
Weird.
I mean, it's just strange how he's at all these things. He's watching the planes go into the towers. Just happens to be there. Happens to be there. All right, let's look at some other fallout here. Now, these are the people that need to be fired. Go side by side. This kid here needs to be expelled from Texas State University. And we need to be merciless. We need to be lawful and merciless. If Tyler Robinson committed this act, and no matter what, he's involved, obviously, he needs to receive lethal injection. Merciless, but lawful.
Yeah.
This kid here, look what he does. He needs to be expelled. Listen, just like they're talking about cancel culture. We are getting people fired for mocking an assassination. But according to leftists, private company, you can do whatever you want. That's private companies doing it. We're just sending them an email saying, here's your guy. This is your guy who works for you. Do with this as you will, and they're being fired. We get canceled. I'll give my example, of course, you've heard 1,000 times, is I say the word ivermectin and I'm canceled off of YouTube for the rest of my life. Yeah. 900 people on our very first podcast watching this live on Facebook alone. And now I have 12 people watching on Facebook right now. And I have 30,000 followers. That's being canceled for what? All I did was tell the truth. So, but again, you open the Pandora's box. That's the game you want to play. You want to play cancel culture. The gloves are off. We don't put gloves on anymore. You said gloves off. That's the new rules. So the gloves are off. So here you go. Benny Johnson video. Help us find him. This is exactly how we need to be. Again, lawful, nonviolent. He needs to pay the price. The price will be expulsion from school. That's where he needs to go. And then he can go sign up for the food stamps for the government, under the government he loves so much. Help us find him. A student at Texas State University is imitating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Play for him.
He's not real. Oh my God. name is Charlie.
Oh, buddy. Fuck that nigga. You're gonna get expelled, dude.
There you go. So he needs to be expelled from the school. And you know what? Good. And then, by the way, good luck ever getting a job. That's the price he needs to pay. He publicly comes out and repents, says that he's wrong. That's one thing. That never happens on the left. They're always telling us that we have to do it. And by the way, right-wingers do it all the time, ridiculously so. But never happens on the left. You know what? No job, no school. Enjoy your actual government reparations for the rest of your life. You can live under the government for the rest of your life in squalor. Good job. And that's the price he needs to pay for being that insensitive, that disgusting of a human being. That's the price. It's a matter of, and I'm taking a lot of this from Matt Walsh. He's given some great explanations on this. When you live in a normal society, antisocial behavior needs to be treated with applicable ramifications. The applicable ramifications for him when you're going to mock the assassination of an innocent man. No school, no job. Publicly repent, we can talk. Let's go to the next one. Benny Johnson video. This made the guys laugh when I put it in this slide tonight. The Armed Queers of Salt Lake City is a Marxist paramilitary group investigated by federal authorities in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So just a little bit of verbiage from the Armed Queers of Salt Lake City. Play it for me.
Here's this little island a couple of miles away from America, 90 miles away from America, and they have a president who talks like us. They have a president who understands the need for a liberated Palestine. And I think that definitely altered my worldview as an organizer.
Now, there's been no connection established between them and Tyler Robinson. I want to make sure I say that. But I just had to focus on that last little bit that they said. What's amazing is their actual name is Armed Queers for Palestine. And they're talking about having something in common with the president of Cuba because the president of Cuba advocates for a free Palestine, of which none of the armed queers of Salt Lake City would ever be allowed to live in.
Right.
Let me explain this to me. I mean, I could go into a long dissertation about what I need explained to me in life because I honestly do not understand abject stupidity. I understand sometimes people get it wrong, but abject stupidity, when you are the armed queers of Salt Lake City and you are advocating for a free Palestine, of which you would be executed 1 second after you arrive to immigrate there. And yet and then you get into the big argument there. Well, Tom, does that make you then pro-Israel? No. I am pro-Israel in that they are a democracy. And that if I had to choose between them and Hezbollah, I'll choose Israel. Because Israel at least is a Muslim, which I consider to be a greater threat on an ideological level. But the thing is, I consider Israel to be a benefactor of the United States, barely an ally. So, and a non-trustworthy ally, and the only ally that's not allowed in Langley, Virginia, under the CIA headquarters, because they're constantly bugging the CIA. So, and they're not even really allowed much in the White House either, because Benjamin Netanyahu has been caught himself bugging, allegedly bugging secrets, the White House or whatever buildings he walks into. But anyway, so again, you get into this weird little amalgam where if you go, you're talking about queers for Palestine, and you're like, they want a Palestinian state. So they're obviously anti-Israel. So now I'm on the side of queers for Palestine? No. I'm on, you obviously have very anti-Israel people like Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Ilhan Omar, very anti-Israel. So I'm on their side because I'm not pro-Gaza conflict? No, what I am what the Constitution and the founding fathers were all about, a very controlled isolationism. That's what I am. I mean, you know what? We just need to mind our own business. I have nothing to do with Israel versus Iran in their list of 6 countries they wanted us to take over, the last of which was Iran, which somehow they've got us to bomb in 2025. That's where I stand. I don't agree with Ilhan Omar about it. I don't even agree with where she stands on Israel. Because they're the ones who find some sort of Jew under every rock to blame everything on. That's wrong too. But it also doesn't mean that the Israeli state doesn't commit atrocities, because they do. Armenian atrocity, the Liberty atrocity, the current Gazan atrocities, but also in the Gazan atrocities, you have Hamas committing atrocities on their own people. This is Ukraine-Russia conflict. Got nothing to do with it. No, thank you. I don't choose either side. I'm out. Why would I bother?
Yeah.
Here's a good one for you. The older millennial video. When they say the majority of the political violence is on the right wing. Now, oh gosh, you know what? Man, it's 10:10. This is 30 minutes. I could go 30 minutes on this video alone about the manipulations of statistical data. Listen to this. Play for me.
Did you know that according to the Anti-Defamation League, any political violence committed against the government is automatically labeled as right-wing? Like, I'm sure you've all been hearing the narrative that most of the political violence in this country is right-wing, but all of the creators coming to that conclusion are getting that from a single study by the Anti-Defamation League. And since we're going to base it all on one single study from one single organization, I think it's important to evaluate how they classify what's right-wing and left-wing violence. Now, the way the ADL does it is they actually have 3 categories of what they consider right-wing political violence, and they have 1 category of left-wing. Now, in the left-wing, they include things like environmental violence, like spiking trees, or like pushing a construction equipment into a ditch, cutting the chains on a logging operation. But as far as right wing goes, any political violence whatsoever committed against the government is automatically labeled right wing. Like Chaz, right wing. Summer of Love protest and destroyed all kinds of shit and destroyed federal buildings, right wing. All of that violence you saw in the street, all of the protest, all of the riot, according to the Anti-Defamation League, that was right-wing political violence. Doesn't matter if a Republican was president, doesn't matter if a Democrat, doesn't matter if it was a liberal or conservative. No matter what happens, if it's against the government, the ADL classifies it as right-wing. So when they say that most political violence in this country is committed by the right wing, please know that they're including everything Antifa, BLM, all of those organizations did as right wing. So when they claim that most of the political violence is right wing, just know they're full of shit.
So this is one of the studies that's always named by the left, where they always claim that most of the violence in the United States is committed by the political violence is committed by the right wing. And me and you and Aaron and Joe and all the rest of us go, where? I mean, I have no videos of right wingers committing violence against anybody. There's a trans genocide going on. Where are the videos of right wingers killing transgender people? There aren't any. So you're always wondering, where do they get this from? I mean, are they just bold-faced lying? Well, of course they're bold-faced lying. But one of the studies they always name is the one that the older millennial, make sure you follow him on Twitter, named, and that's an ADL study, which of course is the Anti-Defamation League, run by Jonathan Greenblatt, who is, of course, a very fervent pro-Israel Jewish person himself. And if you dare speak against anything against the Israeli state, you are then deemed by the ADL as anti-Semitic. But let me just give you a couple quick examples of how this works. So again, the example that I've always used is the rapists, the Pakistani, inbred, low IQ rapists in Great Britain. How do they come up with their rape stats? Because they all just say that, well, you know what? They only commit a certain amount of rapes in Great Britain, and it's only this amount of Pakistanis. Well, they only count what they call first-generation Pakistanis in the rapes. So if you have, let's just say, 30,000 way more than that, but Pakistanis moved in, but 29,000 of them moved in somewhere in 2024 or before. The only ones counting on the crime report as current rapists are those who committed rapes in 2025. All the other Pakistani rapists that committed rapes in 2025, in 2024, in 2023, but they moved there prior to 2025, aren't counted as Pakistani rapists. They're counted as Great Britain citizen rapists. That's how they keep the stats very low. Same thing they did with COVID stats. You were only considered, most people died after their first shot. So they only counted people as vaccinated once they had their second shot.
Oh,
right?
Of course.
Joe Biden claimed that violent crime was down 22%, but he had 44% of police agencies no longer reporting violent crime to him. So in all actuality, violent crime went up 32% because even among the data that he had, when you have basically half the law enforcement agencies reporting violent crime, of which Miami wasn't reporting, New York City wasn't reporting, Los Angeles wasn't reporting. So you had half of the agencies reporting their violent crime, and violent crime only went down 12%. It should have gone down 44%, but they could only claim 12%, so it actually went up 32%. Because even when you had less than 3/4 of the people that were reporting it, all you got was a 12% decline. When 44% weren't reporting, that's all you could get out of it. Amazing. So I tell you, and the exact same thing is going on with the political violence. What they do is claim that all the political violence that is anything that's done against the government is right wing. So you didn't know this, that BLM was right wing? Every act of violence, when they named this study, when you see these idiots on these mainstream punditry channels and shows, when they name the ADL study, they say most political violence is perpetrated by the right. They cite the ADL study, and it's probably all left-wing studies. It's like all the climate change studies where you get paid for the results, and you only get money if you have certain results. But anyway, when they claim that most political violence is perpetrated by the right, they're citing this ADL study, which claims that BLM is right-wing. That's fact. Antifa is right-wing. Everything you saw in Los Angeles was right-wing. And that's what Schiff says from whatever podium he's standing at, whatever microphone he's behind, that's the study he cites. Again, it's not about who you voted for, it's who counts the votes. That's what it is. It's all lies. That's why we're always sitting there going, 76% of political violence is conducted by the right? When? Yeah. Well, because according to the ADL, BLM and Patrisse Cullors are right-wingers. Antifa's right-wingers. Summer of Love, right-wingers. Occupy Wall Street, right-wingers. That's their study. Got to show you this before we go. Greg Price video. ABC reporter describes the text messages between the gay lovers, Tyler Robinson and his butt plug boyfriend, between the scumbag killer and his trans roommate. The reporter describes them as very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. Play for me.
We have seen an alleged murder with such specific text messages about the alleged murder weapon, where it was hidden, how it was placed, what was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate who is transitioning, calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love. So it was this duality of someone who...
So he gets to check all the boxes. So now he gets to be called pro-trans. So he gets to keep his job, right? He's pro-trans, so he gets to keep his I'm a Democrat card. I'm a globalist, leftist, bourgeois elitist, because if I don't espouse approval for this relationship publicly, then I'm going to lose my Democrat globalist card. Better make sure you get your vaccinations, wear your mask, blah, blah, blah. Espouse lies, and that way you keep the approval of the globalist left. That's what he's doing. And imagine that. You're going to look into trying to find some measure of virtue in a guy who just blew a guy's neck out and killed him. That's who these people are on the left. Let me show you this before we go. Go to the next one for me. So Destiny, this is fantastic. This is the war that we wage. Totally lawfully, non-violently. Here's our war that we wage. Unreal, Elon Musk, wish he was still part of the Trump administration. He should be. And other conservatives just got me banned from Twitch. My entire income is gone now. So much for the party of free speech. No, you got exactly what you deserved. By the way, you said Twitch, private company, can allow on whoever they want and can ban whoever they want because it's a private company. Yeah. That's what you said, Destiny. Bummer. Tough for you. They don't want you, bud. You're out. There you go. That's just the way that it is. You're gone. And I love every last minute of it. Let me show you this. Skip the next one, Joe. Go to the EM, whatever it is. Here's another one for you. Play for me.
The person that sent that video to corporate and got me fired, thank you. And I know that everybody is going to see this video too, and that's okay. I'm not going to say anything wrong. Did I realize that what I was saying in that video was going to lead to this? No, I would have never fucking done that. But it seems like with my life, no matter how hard I fucking try, I end up fucking shut up. But I know that everything happens for a fucking reason. And I may not know right now.
So everything happens for a reason, but yet you F everything up. So how is it happening for a reason when you yourself just acknowledge you're the one who Fs everything up? Scalp it. Another one. Done. Good. Lawfully, purposely. This is the war that we're in. Get them all freaking fired. Lose your retirements. Lose everything. All right, Rumble Rants tonight so we can pay Joey, our single member of the crew here. Rumble Rants tonight, Ian Mark, FB, $50. Thank you so much. Castillo Dina, $20. Thank you so much. Jules, 21 hours, my friend from church, $10. Thank you so much. Dave Souders, $5. Thank you so much, Dave. Christopher Arnott, $2. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much in the rant. Thank you guys so much in the chat. Love you. Stick around for the post game. It's awesome. Back here tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. God bless you guys. I'm not amping anything down. You can be as nice as you want. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs. Neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. The nicer you are, the more ground they'll take. And the nicer you are, the more apt they are to murder you. So I'm not amping anything down. I'm not ratcheting anything down. Nothing. Not one thing.
Have you ever had a question you were too afraid to ask? Or a thought you knew everyone was thinking but no one dared to say out loud? Welcome to the Hope Hotline, where nothing's off limits and we say what others won't. Real talk, raw truth, your questions finally answered.
Thanks for watching the Tom Laipply podcast. We appreciate your support. As a special thank you, when you donate $25 or more, you will get a free TLP koozie. Enjoy your favorite cold drink while tuning in to our latest takes on current events. Your support keeps us going. Donate now to claim yours.
I've seen it all. I'm at the basketball game. My son's team's getting his ass kicked. It's 14-2, right? So I looked at the scoreboard. It's 10-2 now. I said, what's going on? Why is the score going backwards? And one of the moms here is like, they don't want to make us feel bad, so they're taking points off. This is ridiculous. I'm sorry. This society sucks.
Come here. Get over here. Get over here.
Yeah. Now what the fuck is that?
What did you do? Was that you? Hey, who was it? Hey, don't. Get your ass back inside.
What is that? Come here.
Huh? Seriously?
Come here. What is this?
I'm watching an NFL game and they did this thing where they're like, look, NFL stadium owners, you can either put it takes all of us in the end zone or end racism in the end zone because we have to pretend like we care about black people. You know?
No, not just black people. Black people making millions of dollars playing a kid sport.
Right.
They're like, end racism. Like, dude, you're crushing it. What are you talking about?
Not only do we not live in a systemically racist country, the least place you'll find it is on an NFL Sunday.
100%.
That is black guys, white coaches, black players working in harmony to win a game, hugging, regardless of the skin color. It's all equal, and it's a meritocracy. If there's one place we don't need it, maybe they need it in prison, Mayhem. But not on NFL.
Racism.
Draw them all together. But also, it's like, the black receiver from South Central has to jump over the racism sign to do the Lambo leap to have 18 white guys all try to shower him with racism sign to do the leap into the crowd with all the guys with the bras.
So true, dude. You nailed that one, dude. That's unbelievable.
I hear your understanding of the pandemic. I don't agree. I lived it closer than you in many ways, closer than any of you probably. In many ways. And there were absolutely mistakes made. The idea that it was a totalitarian regime, that's hyperbole.
All right, can I respond? Because there was a lot there, so I want to try to respond to as much of it as I can.
I didn't mean to flood the zone. We can take it one by one.
We can go one by one. Okay, first of all, when I describe the lockdowns that swept this nation in 2020 as totalitarian, just to be clear, I'm not being hyperbolic. When you're waking up every morning to watch your TV, to find out from your governor what you're allowed to do today, including am I allowed to go to work? Am I allowed to have a funeral for my father? Am I allowed to see my family? Am I allowed to step outside without a cover on my face? There is one word and one word only for that, and that is totalitarianism. I'm sorry. That's not slightly hyperbolic.